ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by the U.S. Navy. Navy, accelerate your life.
Welcome back to the air. It's 3:12 at Talladega. Getting set for the restart. It has been Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. 1-2. And the question is, they come with a green flag. Dale Jarrett, can anyone behind them do anything to be able to handle these guys if they hook up?
I don't think anybody can pass the two of them. I think that Dale Jr. can get some help from David Stremme, Mike Bliss, Jason Leffler to try to make a pass on Tony Stewart. But one of those two guys, I believe, is going to win this race. I know that's really going on the limb.
And to make that pass, the 5 car will have to lay back. But right now, no one's laying back. Here they come.
Oh, these two guys get together. Oh.
And Leffler down below the yellow line, but he had to try to avoid contact with Mike Bliss in the 1.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Bliss did not know that Jason Leffler was down there, went turning into the corner, and got together. There's probably some damage on both of these cars.
Mike Wallace, a 7 car, trying to get by. Now Bliss getting back up to speed. He's in the middle there, but doesn't have a lot of help in the draft.
Right now, the big thing to worry about is a tire rub, because we've seen so many of these tires go flat from some of this contact we've seen.
Now, we see the 70 car there on the inside in that last shot. That's Mark Green. He's doing a terrific job there today, and he's got this car up in the top 10 right at this moment.
Yeah, Mark is in 8th position in the Mary Louise Miller car, one of the part-time runners here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, doing a heck of a job in that 70.
Got a little 3-car breakaway getting into the corner here with Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and David Stremme in the 64 car.
David Stremme's teammate. Well, here's the problem that Brad Coleman was involved in that incident a moment ago.
Hold your line there. Hold your line up there. Hold your line.
And he's had some contact with the concrete. You heard the spotter telling
hold your
him
line. You got one more coming.
To stay where he is so he doesn't come across in front of traffic.
Sure, NASCAR is watching this to make sure that he doesn't have any debris fall off this car that could cause some more tire problems for these leaders.
Meanwhile, back up front, we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars nose to tail. 22 laps to go this time by.
It's like Mike Bliss and Jason Leffler have gotten their cars kind of straightened out here. I don't see any smoke, so maybe they don't have tire rubs from that contact on that restart.
This is a real cat and mouse game going on right now. You've got Tony Stewart, who knows that he's had the fastest car the whole time, and he's sitting there watching his mirror, seeing where these guys can get a run. You got Junior back there laying back, see how much of a run he can make, how much help Stremme's going to be to him. I'm sure their spotters have talked as they're both in Chevrolets. This is going to be very interesting as we get down to the end. Tony's going to make that 20 car as wide as he possibly can, and we know that Junior is a master at this drafting.
One thing I've seen out of these two guys, we saw Junior lead the race earlier with Tony staying right behind him. They've worked together real well. I'm not sure that that Tony really knows how good this 5 car is, because I think you're seeing Junior just play the game, run behind Tony, and wait till the right time and the right place to make his move.
Nationwide Series points. Clint Boyer just reassumed the points lead after being involved in that lap 11 incident back on the racetrack, because Carl Edwards was involved in the big one and is back in the garage area.
We've seen these points jump up and down all day when these wrecks happen. We saw Clint Boyer go as many as 120 points behind the leader when he first had his wreck. Now he's climbed back out of that into the point lead.
Talking about Jason Leffler in that front pack a moment ago, drama on the racetrack. There's been a little bit of drama in his team with regard to the crew chief musical chairs. Now Paul Wolf back aboard that box.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a discrepancy or disagreement with his old team about team notes and who actually owned them. So they got all that straightened out. Now Paul Wolf's back at the racetrack and working with Jason Leffler. Looking forward to some good things, because I think Paul Wolf's a great crew chief, and we know Jason Leffler's a great talent, and got a good run going today.
How about the 64? David Stremme has never won a NASCAR Nationwide Series race. He had a great run at Talladega in the Cup car last year. Let's check in his pits. Dave.
During that last caution, he was getting encouragement from his pit box, including from his teammate Stephen Wallace, who is out of the race and now sits atop the 64 pit box. Stephen radioed, "Hey, this is Steve-O. Dave, can you win?" He goes, I can, but I'd sure need you out here. I don't think there's another Dodge in the top 10. So Wallace watches from here, wishes he was still in his car, and Stremme wishes he still had a teammate on the track.
They are in the Chevys this year, remember? They were in Dodges a year ago. So Rusty Wallace Incorporated in Chevrolets with Earnhardt Childress engines, and strong engines indeed. Caution for the 7th time being shown there. We are told debris off one of the cars, one of the damaged cars, has rolled onto the racetrack, and NASCAR will wave the yellow flag once again.
It's a good move on NASCAR's part if they see this debris out here to go ahead and throw the yellow and get it cleaned up, because we have seen so many incidents. And I guarantee there's a lot of debris. You can see it on the racetrack from all of these wrecked cars. See these cars going by this debris. There's some right here.
NASCAR has spotters all around the racetrack in different locations with binoculars watching for something to come off the car. The question is, can Tony Stewart hang on? You know, he's only finished one time in his NASCAR Nationwide Series career. He's had 4 DNFs in 5 starts. He finished second a year ago, but has never won here. Now the question is, how long has it been since Tony's been on pit road for fresh rubber? Let's listen to the radio.
Smoke, I don't want to scare you, but I do want to be honest with you. I want to stay out. I'm just being honest with you. Not every day you run 100 laps on a set of race tires, so I got to be honest with my driver, that's all. Hell, you're better off just not even telling me nothing if we ain't going to come in and do anything about it, so don't plant that bug in my head.
I guess, DJ, you never want to hear a surgeon say the word oops, and you don't really need to know those things when you've got a crew chief telling you how long the tires have been on the car.
Yeah, I think it'd have been better off talking about fuel or something like that. Yeah, and it's not tires. You don't want to hear that about it. And I'm sure that Tony probably had in the back of his mind, hey, we haven't changed these right sides in a long time, but you just kind of forget that. But you put a number in your head and make you think that. We're a little funny as drivers anyway, so you just don't want to hear, hey, you're going to have 100 laps on your right side tires by the time you finish this. Well, it's just, that's not normal, especially at a place like this.
Well, Dave Rogers gave full disclosure on his decision there, so everybody knows.
He's just trying to be honest. And what about the guy behind him, Dale Earnhardt Jr.? We asked him, why are you so good in the draft?
I study it, and, you know, the studying part's important, I think, because I just watched Dad and watched a lot of races and tried to understand why things were happening that didn't look like they should be happening, how cars got runs in certain areas of the track, and how they worked side by side differently.
Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Jr. both very good at this racetrack at Talladega and Daytona. You look at their records here and how successful they've been. Earlier in the week, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said you gotta find your car's strength. You gotta understand the weaknesses, and you gotta adapt. He said, but it's very important, and I think what his dad told him, you've got to have an attack mode mentality. And I'm quoting, you cannot be tentative or tense about your moves when it comes to Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the very best. Obviously, with the record, they speak for themselves. And you ask any other driver, and that's who I watched was Dale Earnhardt. That's who I wanted to learn from. Even before I could run with him, I watched and studied what he was doing, why he was doing that, and how it affected his car. And he's exactly right. When it comes that time, you can't be tentative with it. You have to go on and make that move, believe in it, and make the most of it. Sometimes it worked, and it worked a lot more for Dale Jr. and for his dad, more times than it's worked against him. But you have to take that chance and just believe in that move that you're going to make. But you make that calculated gamble because you have studied and you understand what your car can do. Just like Junior said, you have to understand what you're capable of doing and then making that move at the proper time.
I really think Dale Earnhardt Sr. has taught a lot of drivers how to be successful here. All the successful drivers have gone to school from him. I know you've raced with him a lot and you've beaten him, but all of these guys really learned a lot from Dale Earnhardt Sr.
And, of course, your very first win as a crew chief came here at Talladega with Dale Earnhardt Sr. And who can forget? I will never forget Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s last win. He was 18th with 3 laps to go. And said, oh my gosh, where did he come from? And somehow, some way, the Intimidator got it done. Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s final trip to victory lane right here at Talladega in the fall of 2000. But what a performance that day. And everyone said, I never forget the late Benny Parsons said, don't count him out, Doc, because look, he's 18th with 3 laps to go. But remember, we're talking about the Intimidator here at Talladega.
And, you know, Bobby Hamilton Sr. said he learned something from Dale Earnhardt Sr. in that race that helped us win the race the next year with the 55 car.